On this episode, we talk about e-commerce, Twitter search, and self-awareness. You ask questions, and I answer them. This is the Ask Gary V Show. Hey everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is episode 108 of the Ask Gary V Show. Yeah guys, you can go back to your, well, Katie, get prepared, because anything's possible at any time. All right, India, let's get into, why don't you show India when I say this? I think it's interesting, or do you think it's more interesting? Okay, India, let's get into the show. It's kind of weird to have you on the right side of me. I'm like, I feel discombobulated. Yeah. Are you lefty? Makes so much sense.
We all are.
We're all lefty.
All three of you.
Yep.
Yuvraj asks, what is the one thing that is still missing according to you in the e-commerce space?
This time it's answered, Yuvraj. So I think the one thing missing in e-com right now, there's a couple things that are missing, but I'm very curious and completely obsessed with who's gonna be the first e-com player that is mobile only, or like disproportionately mobile first, then, I mean, I almost want their desktop e-com site to almost be broken, like in the way that people were broken on mobile 2 or 3 years ago. I think there's a play and a way to disrupt Amazon or other players in niche spaces where you are so natively mobile as all the behavior goes this way, maybe even mobily this way, that the thing that's missing is in the way that Twitter and Instagram became mobile first social networks and really had a big win in that way, Snapchat. I do think there's an evolution of e-com players that are mobile first in their attack, and so I'm excited about that. I think there's going to be a player that emerges in the next half decade that is very mobile centric, mobile only maybe even, which I think would be a big stance and an interesting stance, and one that would almost be a marketing ploy that doesn't work on desktop if you really want to bet on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years out, which I believe e-com behavior on mobile devices will be extraordinary. So the thing that's missing is the opportunity at hand for that mobile execution in e-com.
Ryan asks, what environment is best for you to have successful business meetings in? Conference room, restaurant, in-flight?
Artie, for me, I'm looking to do these meetings anywhere possible at all times. I will sell and biz dev and make the action happen on a flight, on a toilet, in the office, outside, at a ball game, walking the halls, in the bathroom. I don't give a crap. I said bathroom twice. Think about that. That is where my mindset is on this, which is I will go anywhere inappropriate. I would go anywhere. You want to meet at, you want to meet at a funeral parlor to close a deal? I'm interested. Just give me the directions. I'll be there in a minute. So I think to me it doesn't matter where it is or how it goes down. I'm comfortable in all environments and business settings. Conference rooms, are fine. I don't have a problem with that either. I don't want to be cool and do it anywhere. Like I'm really up for whatever when it comes to closing a business deal or doing some biz dev. And so not some cool place like a coffee shop, not some sterile old school place like a conference room, literally everything in between, just anywhere.
I'm about to get a meeting invite at a funeral party. From Manning Elevators.
Yo, meet me at the grave. It's going down.
Manning Elevator wants to know, how do I use Twitter search for something as unique as elevators?
That's a good question. I love talking about Twitter search, something we haven't talked about in a long time. I think Twitter search is the most interesting functionality in Twitter, maybe besides video replies, which I've been knocking out of the park. I think that's a tough one. First of all, is it elevator repairs? Are they selling elevators? Like, what are they doing? To me, Twitter search is amazing, but there's clearly certain very narrow niche things that may not over-index in that environment. I see India's doing some work to try to figure this out. If you're doing elevator repair or selling elevators, Twitter's not going to be the most fertile grounds of people being like, I don't feel like I'm building a building right now as a developer in 2015.
They make them and they do the upkeep.
Yeah, they make them and upkeep it. I don't think these developers in today's day and age, maybe in 20 years, something like Twitter, but I don't think a developer's like, hey, building a building, wondering what to do with the elevator. I think you're better off going into the content game, maybe creating an infographic of like 7 unknown facts of elevator upkeep, and then making that a SlideShare and a Pinterest pin, and then directing it into LinkedIn and running ads against the people that make those decisions at developer firms. So I don't think Twitter search is probably worth your while. I think the other thing you could do if you decide to make a very heavy consumer-facing brand, I think the one white space for B2B people is to make really intriguing videos that aren't boring, that could create general awareness, right? I think general awareness, when you think about Intel, it's a chip, right? But there's general awareness around it, and then you start looking for it. There may be a play where you make videos that are, whether they're funny, whether they're intriguing, thought-provoking, emotional, videos for B2B companies that create mass awareness that then allude to, we're sitting in a room as developers and saying, we're building out the scope, and of course we're looking at RFPs and RFIs and looking at like the costs, but having our brand top of mind is good to even get into that play, and that's branding versus sales. Twitter search is a non-recommended play in June 3rd. Is it June 3rd? On June 3rd, 2015, for elevator manufacturers and service providers. Not a recommendation. No.
Jason wants to know, who do you ask when you have life or business questions?
Jason, this is my strength and my weakness, and so I want to set that up immediately. I ask absolutely nobody. It is insane. I think about this all the time, and I truly, and you know what? It's funny, subconsciously I said it's my strength and my weakness, so I guess maybe that answers my 51-49 question of, is it a strength or a weakness? I do think about it a lot. I do wonder why I'm not really mentored out, even with the most amazing dad who was in the business. I was mentored, and maybe this is just the way I roll. Maybe I'm being mentored by example. I think my parents, it's funny, I'm gonna be a different parent, I think, and like sit down my kids and do my spiel. I love doing this. Imagine me as a dad, and I'm like, kid, when the wind blows, I'm just gonna do shit like that. I never really went that route. I watched my parents, and maybe I watch other people, and Steve Ross, who's my LP and an investor partner now, one of the most successful businessmen of the last 100 years in the US, I have full access to him at a scary level, and I don't hit him up for like, what do you think? And this is a guy who's owns a football team, $5 billion man, and I never sit down and ask him. I'm like, let me tell you, it's in me. It's either a strength or a weakness, but the true answer to the question is absolutely nobody. I'm a big believer that people should see psychiatrists and vent and do that. I don't do that, even though I believe in it tremendously. I don't think I'm a hypocrite, because the truth is, it's stunning. And by the way, if I ever go through if I ever went through a sustained 36-hour period of being really upset, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would change my behavior, but I am so scared and so blessed and so thankful and so grateful for the perspective that I have as a human being, which is, you just can't wrap your head, my friends, Vayner Nation, you just cannot wrap your head around the excitement that I would have in my body if all the things on paper that seem like my successes would disappear tomorrow. Obviously, I want to take care of my family and put a roof over their head and those kind of things, but you do not understand my lack of taste for caviar. I just don't give a shit. I love the game. You know why I love the Jets and the Knicks? Because they don't win. Do you understand? And so for me, the fear of failure is not a fear at all. As a matter of fact, I would argue that I have more fear for success than I have fear for failure. And so, because of that, I don't know, it puts me in a very happy place. I don't look for advice, because the truth is, I don't want to screw anything up. I don't go and speak to somebody to vent, because I don't want to screw anything up. I feel like the chemicals are aligned right now. I'm very happy. I'm super duper duper happy.
That's good.
Cool.
Last one from Ryan.
Ryan.
There's a funny bonus one if you want to do
Look at MAQ's outfit today. Let's just show the nation. It's looking good with that. He's got that mustard going. And that collar's legit. Yeah, the mustard. All right. He's got that mustard. Brought the mustard. All right, let's go.
Ryan asks, how can you claim family first but work 19 hours a day? How can you be a good dad-hubby and rarely be home?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and I like the zing of the hashtag at the end. What's the name?
His name is Ryan.
Ryan, let me explain something to you, partner, and everybody else who asks me about this question. This is a very legit question, and so I'm not angry or looking to zing back because you're right. This has a lot to do with decisions that my wife and I have made about the way I storytell my life versus the way I storytell my private life. I look at things in net game form, right? For example, let's just, as a matter of fact, this is actually very convenient. Didn't even think about this because I didn't really know the questions today. Let's just zoom it in, D-Rock. Let's just zoom in where I was this morning because I worked out at 6, right? You tell me when, and you may not be able to pull it off. You think you're gonna be able to pull it off?
Can you hold it closer?
I can.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yep.
Yep, and there we are.
Good. So look at this. Ha ha ha. I went to the kindergarten play today, right? I went to the kindergarten play. As a matter of fact, I was there half an hour early to be first in line at the kindergarten play this morning. And look at this stuff that I never share. And this one you're gonna have to blur out, D-Rock, because this is the point of the answer. But here we go. Let's just see the last couple of videos that were taken. Oh look at these videos. Look at these videos of, kids singing. Kids singing. Yeah, kids. My friends, here's what this one comes down to, and I have enormous amounts of empathy and self-awareness to why this question is asked all the time. And when I talk about 19-hour days, and when D-Rock and I and Stefan put out a day in the life video and it shows all this and nobody wants to envy it, I'm playing in extremes. First and foremost, when there are important events like this, the kind of things that my dad never came to because he set the foundation to it, I'm there. I'm at the play, I'm at the recital, I'm there. On weekends, I am all in, my friends, all in on weekends, right? I'm not playing 4 hours of golf like a lot of you. I'm not doing a lot of other things that a lot of people are doing. I'm all in on the kids, right? Then I'm taking, 7 weeks of vacation, which is probably in the ballpark of 4 or 5 weeks more than you, right? More than you, which is high quality time, all in every second. And so, yes, maybe I'm playing Monday through Friday, 40 weeks a year at an intensity that's different, but I have found my cadence, my rhythm, my balance with my spouse and my children predicated on playing it that way. And I'm finding a lot of quality time with them in these extremes. And so, I think I never judge or ask or tell anybody how to raise their family or do their thing. The other thing I've decided is, unlike a lot of my contemporaries and a lot of social media experts who I don't think exploit their kids on social networks, but I would say are intriguing about being so obsessed with getting likes and hearts that they know when they use their cute kids, they get more. It's I've been in many conversations sitting right here at conferences. I'm right here, but I'm listening always, because that's how I roll, and I'm doing my thing. And I've heard many people talk about strategies around how, put your kids in stuff, you'll get more likes. I'm like, really? So, I've chosen, my wife has chosen, we have chosen to, as you guys know, there are very few pictures or any kind of public pictures of my wife or my kids. It's just what's comfortable to us. So I'm very self-aware about the rationale to why people may question my ability to be a good dad or do my thing. The other part of this answer is, Misha and Xander are 3 and 6. This is the system, and they were 2 and 5 seconds ago, and as things evolve, as they're in softball and soccer and football and this and that, I'll adjust and my schedules will change. And a big thing in 2016 I've been giving a lot of thought to is coming home every day at 5 p.m. for 30-40 minutes to eat or bathe. And so I'll adjust and I'll try and I'll hustle and I'll work and I'll continue to always struggle with work-life balance given my happiness, my ambition, my selfishness around work. However, there are a lot more things going on here than just the things you're making assumptions on, rightfully so given the content that I'm putting out. But that's why even that video we talked about and ended with, and big ups to Alex on our team to push this, which really made that video whole, which was, that's me, do you. And so I feel super cozy about the time allocation. I would also argue, my friend, about quality, because plenty of people that work 9 to 5 come home, drink a beer, watch TV, play video games, and spend, 6 seconds yelling at their kids to do homework. And so there's quantity, which, I like to think I'm maybe playing a good game on extremities. And then there's also quality, like, actually having a relationship, like actually having a conversation, actually spending quality time, actually looking them in the eye, actually. So that's my answer to that question, friends.
Ewan asks, do you believe in aliens?
I do believe in aliens.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I do. Let's talk about this for a second. This is more gray in my opinion, D-Rock. This is not an official question.
I want to know.
Do you believe in aliens?
It seems
As a matter of fact, you know what?
probable.
I'm not even going to listen to your answer. But do you believe in aliens? Straight up.
Yes.
Like on the record forever.
Yes.
Okay. You, Stefan? No. D-Rock?
I'm unsure. I'm on the edge.
D-Rock, you have to answer the question. Life on the line, yes or no? Simple. Simple. It's not really complicated.
I'm gonna say yes.
Cool, me too. I think space goes way further than our solar system. What I'm curious about and way more intrigued by is I actually think there's another Gary Vaynerchuk in a different world.
I believe that more.
Yeah.
I believe in aliens. Like,
Really?
Somebody
Like,
else is just
yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
I'm so curious if Gary in a different galaxy is crushing it or is a loser. Question of the day. Do you believe in aliens? You keep asking questions, I'll keep answering them. Thanks for watching on YouTube. I know I've been pushing the Facebook videos, but the YouTube crew means a ton to me. Appreciate you. And the other thing, and I've been watching, I know the NSA thing is weird, a lot of you haven't subscribed yet. Do it.